Let's look at the following problem on static equilibrium. A uniform beam of weight W and length square root 3 times r lies in a smooth circular trough of radius r as shown below. So this entire length is square root 3 times r, and it is a uniform beam of weight W. So the weight acts exactly in the middle. At one end of the beam is a weight W over 2. So that is this little object right there. Find the angle theta at which the beam lies when it is in equilibrium. This point here is the center of that circular trough. So we'll begin by sketching the free body diagram of this uniform beam. The first is its weight, which acts exactly in the middle. And the weight of that beam is W. That means this length is square root 3 over 2r. And that length is square root 3 over 2r. The second force that is acting on the beam is the weight W over 2 that acts at the end, W over 2. We are going to assume that this object here is very small and the weight is concentrated at this end of that uniform beam. And then you have normal force from the wall of that circular trough acting on the beam at this point and at that point. And since this is a normal force, it would extend all the way in a 90-degree direction. That means from that point, for example, all the way to the center of that circular trough, like that. Let's call this normal force N1. The second normal force would go like that. And this is N2. Now the angle they make with a tangent is 90 degrees. That's why we call them normal force. Like that. So what we have here is a triangle with sides r, r, and square root 3 times r. So let's sketch the triangle here for later use. R, r, square root 3 times r. This angle here we can call alpha. That is alpha. And this is some angle, we can call it beta. What that means is we can immediately determine these angles. Using laws of cosine for triangle, we see that the square of this side, which will give you 3r squared, equals to the square of that side, r squared, plus square of that, plus r squared, minus 2 times the length of that side times the length of that side times cosine of beta. What that gives you is 3r squared equals 2r squared minus 2r squared cosine beta. So the r squared will cancel and will give you cosine beta as minus half. So beta is 120 degrees. So this angle here is 120 degrees. That would make this angle 30 degrees and that angle 30 degrees as well. We note up until this point we are not making any assumption of this theta. Now let's look at condition 1 of static equilibrium. The sum of all the forces equals to 0. X-axis is taken to be like that, and y-axis is the axis that is going vertically upward. So let's begin with the x component of all the forces. Now there are only two terms. One is the x component of N1 and x component of N2. The x component of N1 would go rightward. So this dotted white line is horizontal. Let's call it N1x. The x component of N2 would go leftward, like that. And let's call it N2x. So that means N1x equals N2x. We note this angle here is theta through the zigzag rule. This is theta, so that is theta as well. So from this diagram, this angle right there is 30 minus theta. So x component of n1 is n1 cosine of 30 minus theta. X component of n2 from the diagram is n2 cosine of 30 plus theta, that angle. So let's call this equation 1. Next, let's look at the y component of all the forces. So the y component of all the forces must sum up to 0 as well. The y component of n1 will be heading upward, like that. Let's call it n1y. The y component of m2 will also heading upward, n2y. W and w over 2 are heading downward, so they must balance out. So n1y plus n2y equals w plus w over 2, so 3w over 2. From the diagram, you see n1y is n1 sine 30 minus theta plus n2y is n2 times sine theta, or rather 30 plus theta, and that equals 3w over 2. So we can call that equation equation 2. Now let's look at condition 2 of static equilibrium. The sum of all the torques about any point is 0. Now we shall choose to deal with this point. So we can calculate all the torques about an axis passing through that point and perpendicular to the page. So w over 2 and n2 will not contribute because the moment arm associated with these two forces are 0. Only w and n1 will contribute. So let's calculate the torque due to n1 about that point. So it is n1 times the moment arm. Moment arm is the distance from the axis of rotation to the point where n1 acts. In this case, square root 3 times r, times the sine of the angle between the moment arm and the force n1. So that is this angle right here. And that is just 180 minus 30, which is 150 degrees. So you get sine 150 degrees. The next contribution is w. We know w is downward. The y component of n1 is upward. So the torque created by these two forces will be opposite. n1 will tend to rotate the beam this way, and w would tend to rotate the beam that way, about that axis. So they should sum up to 0. So the torque created by w is w times the moment arm, which in this case, that distance, so it is square root 3 over 2 r, times sine of this angle, because the moment arm is going in that direction, the force is in that direction, so the angle between them is that angle. We note that this angle here, because of the zigzag nature, is theta, and this is 90 degrees, so the total angle is theta plus 90 degrees. Sine theta plus 90, it is just cosine theta. And you see this square root 3 will go away, r would go away, and sine 150 is half, so that half will cancel this half, giving you an expression for n1 in terms of w and theta. So n1 is w cosine theta. We can substitute this equation in equation 1 to get n2 in terms of the given parameters. So if you do that, you get n2 equals n1, which is w cosine theta, times cosine 30 minus theta, over cosine 30 plus theta. Now all we have to do is to substitute n1 and n2 in equation 2. That will give us n1 is w cosine theta. I'm going to use the abbreviation c for cosine and s for sine. And then you have that term, which is sine 30 minus theta plus n2, which is all that. So w cosine theta, cosine 30 minus theta over cosine 30 plus theta. And don't forget the sine term here, sine 30 plus theta. And that equals 3 over 2 w. And you see the w will go away, giving us this equation. Let's simplify it. So let's make the denominator of the two terms on the left hand side the same. So you have cosine theta, that's this term, sine 30 minus theta over cosine 30 plus theta, cosine 30 plus theta. I'm making the denominator for the two terms to be the same. Now you have the second term, that is this term right there. So that is cosine theta, cosine 30 minus theta, sine 30 plus theta over cosine 30 plus theta. And that is the same as 3 over 2. Now let's factor out the common terms from the sum, and that's going to give you cosine theta over cosine 30 plus theta times the leftover terms. The leftover terms would be sine 30 minus theta times cosine 30 plus theta plus cosine 30 minus theta times sine 30 plus theta. I have rewritten it here. It's like sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. So that is just sine A plus B. So A is this, B is that. When you sum them up, you get sine 60, which is square root 3 over 2. So in this case, you have square root 3 over 2 times all that equals this number, which is 3 over 2. So that's going to go away, giving you cosine theta over cosine 30 plus theta equals square root 3, because 3 over square root 3 is square root 3. Let's try to solve theta from this equation. The left hand side is cosine theta. Bring the denominator to the other side. You have square root 3. Cosine 30 plus theta is cosine 30, which is square root 3 over 2 times cosine theta minus sine 30, which is half times sine theta. Separating the cosine and sine terms, let's bring the sine to the left. You get sine theta square root 3 over 2. So that is this term times that term. Bringing cosine to that side, the cosine term becomes 3 over 2 minus 1 cosine theta. So this is half. So this 2 will get cancelled, giving you tangent theta equals 1 over square root 3. So that means theta has got to be 30 degrees. So that is the answer to this problem. So in effect, this is how the beam would be resting under equilibrium in that circular trough. So this is the triangle. So this is 30 degrees, that is 30 degrees, and that is 120 degrees. Of course, along with that weight, this weight. That solves the problem. Thank you for watching.